Hello and welcome to the No One Asked You podcast. This series, I am once again joined by my wonderful co-host, that darn Kitty.
Dorkus and I are sharing our experience reading The Way of Kings for the first time. Each episode, we will summarize what we've read and discuss the experience along the way.
This is Storming the Archives, The Way of Kings, and today we discuss Chapter 4.
Chapter 4!
Chapter 4, The Shattered Plains. Kaladin sits in the slave cart, conversing with the strange Windspran.
Why don't you cry? The others cry at night, but you don't.
Why cry? What would it change?
I don't know. Why do men cry?
Ask the Almighty why men cry, little Spren, not me. Kaladin notes that the caravan leaders are late in their routine feeding of the slaves. The caravan leader, Tvlakov, ponders over a map of the region. Kaladin baits the caravan leader into giving him the map, then promptly tears up said map into several unreadable pieces. The two talk for a time, as the caravan leader hopes Kaladin knows the area well enough to guide them to the proper destination. They discuss vengeance and how the caravan leader need not fear Kaladin because Kaladin would more likely hunt the first man to sell him into slavery, High Lord Amaram. Kaladin was no deserter, but it would behoove him to pretend as much. He curses to himself as the caravan leader walks away. The Windspren inquires why he had cursed, to which Kaladin responds, I almost find myself liking him.
But after what he did?
I didn't say he wasn't a bastard. He's just a likable bastard. Those are the worst kind. When you kill them, you end up feeling guilty for it. Later, a high storm hinders the progress of the caravan. Kaladin reflects on the slaves' fear of what may lie in the high storm, the Stormfather, the Lost Radiance, or the Voidbringers, all said to haunt the most violent high storms. Two of the caravan workers remove a protective barrier from the slave carts so that the slaves might be cleaned by the weather, but Kaladin notes the workers do so a bit early. The high storm isn't anticipated to be ending soon. Perhaps the travelers are nearing their destination. The Windspren chooses not to leave with the other Windspren sighted during the high storm. She notices other men nearby. In the distance, pointed at by the Windspren, Kaladin notices smoke. The caravan approaches and, to Kaladin's shock, they haven't arrived at the city as was expected. Instead, they find themselves on the outskirts of a giant army belonging to House Kolin, the king's house. Kaladin realizes with tremendous irony that after years of trying to get to the Shattered Plains because it's what Tien had wanted, has made his way here by accident. The other slaves seem optimistic about their destination, causing Kaladin to ruminate on the nature of slavery in the Vorin Empire and on the outer beauty but inner rot of the Light Eyes. The slaves hope for justice, but Kaladin thinks, justice? I'm not convinced there's such a thing as justice. End chapter.
Mm-hmm. Back with Kaladin.
Yes.
Good to see him. He thinks he's given up. He has not given up. I love the tearing up of the map.
Agreed. And I love that he's a bit more outspoken this chapter. He's got some energy back, so to speak.
Yes. Yeah. I know that there is that kind of when you've kind of, I've got nothing to lose, so you know what, whatever, let's just go. There is that kind of resignment that you can have. Is that a thing? Resignation. There you go. That kind of resignation that you could have. But I still feel like he, in spite of himself, he has hope of some sort. He just wants to make the best of his situation, even though he has that quite nihilistic view. There's no justice and whatever. I agree. I wouldn't expect the best from where they are because we already
he's
even
along
had
for
that.
the ride.
Yeah, he's along for the ride. He's still alive. Go him. Well done. For me, I'm like, yeah, keep going. And yeah, the Windspren, cute conversation as usual. Yeah, I love that line with Kaladin as well, saying that, you know, he might be a bastard, but you know, just the way that you quoted those lines, I would have quoted those as well. If it was my choice, I would also have gone for them. So we liked the same lines. Yeah.
The dialogue in this chapter was really well done. I was not expecting myself to like the caravan leader nearly as
Yeah.
much as I did.
Exactly. I literally, at that point that he said, I find myself almost liking him, I was like, same. It was, I actually laughed out loud as well, because it was just like, oh, damn, I was just feeling that. I was going, why do I like this guy? And Kaladin as well is going, damn it. But
Yeah,
that
because
doesn't
there
mean
was
that he's
this.
not bad.
Right, he's a very bad guy. I mean, he's a slaver. Of course, he's bad.
The
But
worst of the worst. Yeah.
there was a certain degree of self-actualization with him going on, and like he didn't lose his temper. He was getting frustrated clearly, but he didn't explode. He wasn't a Kamen about it, so
Yeah,
to
I was
speak.
expecting. Yeah, I think that's what it was as well. We were expecting the worst from him, and then he was very pragmatic about it. Like, okay, fine.
Yes.
Well, you know what? I don't need that because it wasn't really good to me anyway. You know. So I
Yeah.
think that made it endearing as well, because you're like, wait a second. We were, yeah. I think the anticipation of him being beaten to death was something that made it bearable.
Yeah, and you get the sense that the caravan leader is a guy who appreciates intelligent people, and he's like, hey, well, you made yourself valuable then. Congratulations, great move. So he appreciates
Well played, yeah.
intelligent and exactly. And that right there is a likable quality in someone. So even though he's a bad guy, there is that likableness.
Yeah.
And then Tinkerbell is sticking around, and clearly she has some unique interest in Kaladin and what's going on. She's not like the other Windspren.
Very has a lot of, well, she's very visible, as in, like, literally we have this feminine face of hers. She's not just a wisp of things. Also, we have confirmation that nobody else can see her, including the slaver can't see her. She's very entertaining and sweet and cute, and I love that he called her Little Spren.
Yeah. The why do men cry? The dialogue is, there's just so much to think about, and I'm so excited to see what this dialogue means or builds upon in the future for the story.
Yeah. We've got the description of the shattered plains.
Yes.
They are very shattered.
Yep. And it's a bummer that this is how he got there, but he got there.
Yeah.
He appreciates the irony of it. And we have a new name now, Tien.
Who is that?
Do you think Tien is the girl from the previous chapter?
I don't know, because I don't understand why a girl would want to go there.
Fair.
Like the warriors all wanted to go there, and be part of a good fighting that would mean something. So that's probably what they wanted. But then you can see how the rest of the slaves talk about this place, and the slaves that are here, they get wages and this and that, as if it's all good.
Yeah, I was a little perturbed by the optimism from the slaves when they discovered they were at the Shattered Plains, presumably where the real fighting occurs.
Yeah, I'm like that this can't be good. But okay, there must be some such ignorance out there about what's actually going on here.
And I do appreciate a glimpse into how slavery in this world works, because there are different kinds of slavery.
There's serfdom here.
Yeah. And like modern conceptions of slavery is very different than, say, the slavery of Rome, which there's racially based and then there's conqueror based. And this world seems to have a little bit of both in it.
Yeah. It's like a
between
hybrid.
the light eyes. Yeah.
Also, one of the things I was interested in, I'm just thinking, okay, we got more of a look into the storm, high storm, what a high storm's like.
Bit of superstition about them as well. Well, we can't really say it's superstition yet. It could well be that there are void bringers in there.
Yeah, and we know that Brandon Sanderson likes the idea of like myths and legends having a grain of truth. So knowing the truth of these legends will be an interesting find. There was something that very important. The fact that Kaladin is not a deserter. We were speculating
Oh,
in the
yes.
previous chapter about it.
Bright Lord Amaram.
Yeah.
Or High Lord.
Mm,
What's interesting there is we don't really get very many details other than to say he wasn't a deserter. So what I have imagined to fill in the blanks is something to the effect of when the man in shard plate showed up onto the battlefield and more or less killed everyone. I'm guessing most folks fighting on Amaram's side, and therefore Kaladin's side, fled. And those who didn't throw themselves at the shard plate guy were considered deserters, even though they probably did what was only reasonable under the circumstance. That is what I have imagined thus far.
Yeah, that's what I thought of. That's what I was thinking beforehand, and this makes me stick with that theory. That losing to retreating, I suppose, which I think was their only option in any case.
Agreed.
Was just decided that they know that's desertion, and that's just what that lord decided he was going to do about it. So we've got that confirmation, basically, that we know that he didn't desert. He was sold into slavery.
Agreed.
He was betrayed from the beginning.
Yeah.
And you can see how angry he is as well with that idea, because that's something that the slaver presses on. There's like, I didn't start this. Okay, I'm just a cog in this machine here. Sorry for you.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't start it.
Yep. I'm very curious to see what kind of role Kaladin will fill once he's a part of the king's army here, because I can't imagine he'll be becoming another captain of a squad again. He'll be cleaning latrines or picking through bodies or some menial thing that he'll be unhappy with, I'm sure.
But then you kind of think, okay, will somebody notice his value? And then that happens. Well, we don't know. That clearly something important happens. This is not a book about him cleaning latrines for the rest of them.
Of course. It'll be curious to see if he even wants to try to run away again, if he's actually at the place that he's been wanting to get to.
Yeah. He's going to, and again, I think there will be a bit of disillusionment, although it seems like he already has it. He also knows that this is not everything it's cracked up to be. And this is not the solution to everything the way everyone thinks.
Agreed.
Yeah, looking forward to that journey.
Hi, everyone. Editor Dorkus in to throw in an elevator thought regarding the epigraph that Kitte and I forgot to discuss. The epigraph itself is, "I'm dying, aren't I? Healer, why do you take my blood? Who is that beside you with his head of lines? I can see a distant sun, dark and cold, shining in a black sky." Collected on the 3rd of Jesnon, 1172, 11 seconds pre-death. Subject was a Reshi Chul trainer. Sample is of particular note. What is of particular note about what was said? I wonder if it has to do with this person that he is seeing before he dies, and what it has to do about the sun and the dark cold. It all sounds very ominous, but I feel like this is going to be one of those things where when we know, we'll come back to this moment here and be like, ah! I think that's just about everything that I've got.
Yeah.
Great. Then
we'll see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Okay, thanks. Bye.